speaking of extensions, Brock just got an extension. He's here through 2030. Nick Sirianni just got an extension from the Eagles. Of course, he just won a Super Bowl. You know who hasn't gotten extensions recently?
Well, Kyle, I guess, relatively. Is that what you're
Kyle.
doing?
It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Been a couple years. So what do you think this means? I mean, the owners have really shown that they are all in with Brock Purdy. No trade clause, $53 million a year. He's by far the highest paid player in the organization. He seems to have some serious power and sway. What does this mean for his bosses?
Well, I think by all accounts, Jed York is madly in love with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I really think that's the case. I think they got impatient with the spending that was going on and not reaping results from it. And so they tapered that back. But I think they found a comfortable groove where they're at. As long as you're competitive, as long as you're making the playoffs every other year, and as long as we're selling jerseys, Jed seems to be completely fine with it. As far as this is concerned, though, I mean, the rubber has to meet the road at some point, though, right? Like, and now you've attached yourself to a quarterback who you've paid like a franchise quarterback. This is your franchise quarterback. You've been here 9 years. You're going on year 9 for Kyle Shanahan. At some point, they have to come through and perform, you would think. But also, it seems like to me, Jed York is 100%. If you go to the Super Bowl and compete, he doesn't even care if you lose anymore. Based on his statements in 2023, where even if they lose the NFC Championship game, it's a success.
Bear with me on this one. I think this extension means that the Yorks look at Kyle and John as potentially expendable now. When you don't have a franchise quarterback, your head coach and general manager are really freaking important because you're trying to put this competitive team together without the most important position. And Kyle was the one who could do that for 8 years. Give me freaking Mac Jones, Nick Mullins. We'll move the ball. But as soon as you like attach yourself financially this aggressively to a quarterback, he's the franchise. He's the whole thing. And if something goes wrong, it's not his fault. They missed the playoffs again. It's not on Brock. It's on the freaking coach for not being able to win with an elite quarterback. So it seems to me they have, like, we heard John and Kyle say it a bunch of times this offseason, like, this is the last quarterback we want to work with on the 49ers. Mm-hmm. Or it's the last quarterback you get to work with on the 49ers because you went through like 5 already, and the Yorks want to hold you 2 accountable, not the next quarterback. They like Brock. You guys have to perform. It's year 9.
Well, let me ask you this. How accountable do you think Jed York really holds anyone to in this organization ever since Jim Harbaugh left, right? I mean, we remember the speech he gave about, hold me accountable if we don't win a Super Bowl. That Jed York seems to be gone. I don't really think he wants to win a Super Bowl, yes. But more importantly, he wants to compete and make money. I really believe that is the situation with Jed York. I think that's number 1 and Super Bowl is number 2. I really don't see him holding Kyle accountable. I just don't see that from Jed York. Now, he might limit the money he's able to spend, but as long as they're competing, I think that's all Jed York cares about. That's my impression of Jed York.
Yeah, but it's not a given that they're going to make the playoffs this year. I know a lot of people think just because their schedule is easy on paper, but I think the team last year that had the easiest schedule on paper missed the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything. And if they were to miss the playoffs this year, I think it's fair to wonder, I don't know if Jed's changed. I don't know if he's softer now. I don't know. He's in the background. All I know is that 11 years ago, when he had Harbaugh, they extended Kaepernick in June of 2014. 6 months later, Harbaugh was gone. And I think maybe I'm wrong, but from the Yorks perspective, when you get a quarterback, all of a sudden, that's who you're wedded to. You're not necessarily as wedded to the coach. And maybe they thought that Kaepernick was such an incredible player that they could move on from Harbaugh and have a line of coaches around the block dying to coach Kaepernick. Didn't work out that way. But I think that may be what teams think when they invest heavily. Like, maybe the Packers think, if it doesn't work out with LaFleur, a lot of people would want to coach Jordan Love. I'm not sure that Brock Purdy really is that guy. And that's like, I've always been like, hey, man, I would trade Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, if they fired Kyle Shanahan and just expected a lot of coaches to want to coach Brock and I don't know about that. That's what's scary about this extension.
What I don't think this necessarily weds the 49ers to Brock Purdy, but what I think it's more does is weds Kyle Shanahan to Brock Purdy. Meaning, and I think that Yorks really feel that Brock's probably not going to be as good if you had a different coach. I think it's a good marriage between Kyle's offensive system, Kyle and Brock. But if you remove one of, like if you remove Kyle out of this equation, I'm not so sure that I don't think anyone really thinks that Brock Purdy would be as good of a quarterback without Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he would. And I'm not trying to
could you do what Eddie D did 35 years ago, where it's like, let's say they miss the playoffs again this year or whatever, and the owners decide that Kyle's burnt out. They love his system. They love everything he's built, but just himself, he's, aged 20 years and 9 years, and they push him out the way Eddie pushed out Walsh, but they want to keep everything intact in terms of his structure. You want to promote Saleh to head coach. You want to promote Clay Kubiak to offensive coordinator. You want to keep Brock Purdy. I mean, that's what Eddie did once upon a time. And again, like if the Niners were to push out Kyle, I think fans would revolt. They wouldn't like it because even if he missed the playoffs again next year, I think fans would be like, who's better? Fans love Robert Saleh. Yeah. And I think the owners know it. I think Kyle knows it. And if he could become the head coach and keep all those assistant coaches around him, I think a lot of Niner fans would be open-minded to it, especially if they miss the playoffs again next year.
My only thing is, man, I go back and I really feel like Jed York is absolutely – let me be serious here. I was going to say in love with Kyle. Let me be serious here, though. Like, these guys and their wives hang out, drink wine, eat dinner. They have a great personal relationship. Kyle Shanahan, to me, would have to have a disastrous, embarrassing season again. Last year was kind of that way. They'd have to do it again, I think, for Jed to want to be like, I don't care what my relationship is with this guy. We got to do better. I don't think Kyle would have to have a disastrous season. I really think that's what it would take for Jed York to even go that way.
You got to remember that Kyle cost Jed York's parents a ton of money last year. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he suffered the consequences a little bit this year. That's just the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's not just Jed. It's not his money. It's his parents' money.
Denise.
It's Denise's money.
Denise. So the one thing, like with Harbaugh, right? Harbaugh and Jed did not like each other at all. So it's very easy, like, right? Jed was watching, like, let me see you make a mistake, dude, and I will kick you the hell out of here the way you disrespected me in front of this whole team, right? With Kyle, it's like we're friends, man. We hang out, we eat Italian food, drink wine, and our wives hang out. So he's going to have to be way more disastrous than Harbaugh ever was.
PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. To make a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. You can play PrizePicks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best of all, PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50. Basketball season is here, and there's no better time to get in. Just use promo code COHN, C-O-H-N, and download PrizePicks now. But Harbaugh got pushed out after 4 years because it was so explosive and untenable. This is year 9. And I think the Yorks have to be cognizant, like, yo, he's coming up on the Bill Walsh year. Mm-hmm. Walsh was 10 years, and then Eddie said that's enough. Like, you're going to give this guy 10 years with no rings? Like, is that the legacy you want to have? Do you want to look that weak? Or at some point, do you want to say, you know what, Kyle, we've given you every opportunity. We've written every check. We've been so patient. We got to draw a line in the sand somewhere at some point.
If they're profitable and not embarrassing, I think it's going to be hard for them to reach that point. But at some point, they will.
You know what would be embarrassing?
What'd you say?
Missing the playoffs this year with this schedule. That would be embarrassing.
It would. 2 years in a row.
Yep. That'd be embarrassing.
Losing at home in a bad way.
Last year you could write it off. Oh, it's a one-off Super Bowl hangover. injuries, drama, excuse. It happens again this year. It's a trend. Everyone was there for OTAs. You got all your business done. What's the it's just that Christian's old now. It's just that Trent's old now. It's just that Kyle's old now. What's the problem?
Well, you know what they're gonna what would happen, the conversation, and that's probably already occurring is, we're gonna go out here and do our best with these young rookies that we got. But if it goes bad, hey, we just had rookies out there. We're rebuilding, right?
You always got to set up your excuses if you're a coach, because you don't want to set the bar for yourself. So I think we saw it with Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter came out last week and was like, yo, this team won 6 games last year and lost talent, which is factual. This is a 6-win team that got worse on paper, my opinion, this offseason. And the upside is maybe the rookies ball out. Maybe Christian stays healthy. Maybe Trent stays healthy. Yeah, I wouldn't bet money on it, but yeah, that could happen. I wouldn't bet money on it.
What Adam Schefter left out on that is that Huff barely played. Greenlaw barely played. The guys they lost didn't even play last year. So, yeah, they lost talent compared to 2023. But really, those guys didn't even participate. And the loss of Debo, is that really a loss? So I'm not so sure that this team.
Yeah, but like you lose Aaron Banks and replace him with Ben Barch. Like that's not an upgrade. You lose Jalen Moore and you replace him with Andre Dillard. Not an upgrade. You lose Dre Greenlaw and replace him, even though he didn't play. The replacement's D Winters. He couldn't even. I mean, I don't know. My voice is going up octaves, and I don't want to sound like I'm whining or something because I don't really care. I don't really care. I just decided.
I'm not so sure that this is. If everyone's healthy, I think this could be a better team. I do. I think younger, faster, healthier is a better equation.
Doesn't that kind of sound like saying that, like, if everyone's healthy on the Warriors, they can win the finals?
Yeah, and it's probably true. Probably true.
I mean, like, yeah, if the Warriors stay healthy next year, I would pick them to win the finals, but I'm not expecting them to stay healthy for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of gross to be like, I'm predicting injuries, but it's sports, and players who are old get hurt. Players who got hurt in the past tend to get hurt in the future. I mean, that's just my experience.
And then here's the other thing too. Linebacker. I don't know why I can't. This guy, Campbell.
Devondre.
D Winters cannot be worse than Campbell. That's impossible. He's going to be better. He is.
Yeah.
Campbell.
Can we just take a moment for Devondre Campbell? What a time that happened. That happened.
Name a worst linebacker on the 49ers since I can't remember. I can't remember a worst linebacker for the 49ers.
He was so bad.
Horrible.
And he was sort of like the microcosm of the whole season. Like, why is he here? Who is this guy? How did he get here? And why is he still here? Because he's clearly awful.
Winters is going to be better than Campbell. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So, like, I'm excited for this.
Malik Mustafa, you don't know when he's coming back. Ayuk, you don't know when he's coming back. Jair Brown's got a whole lot to prove. Ben Barch has a whole lot to prove.
But don't you feel
Ricky P?
I feel so much more confident with Robert Saleh.
That's true.
Than I did. Like,
that's a big one. That's the one. That's the addition. That's by far the best thing they did this offseason.
Yeah, by far, man. I really like that guy. I'm hopeful that this break, no playoffs, no Super Bowl, no Debo, and hopefully Christian stays healthy. I'm hoping that can really rejuvenate the offense. And then with Robert Saleh over there, I'm trying to be optimistic. It's the optimistic time of year, Grant, now.
I'm trying to be pessimistic. What if Robert Saleh's one and done? Then what do the Niners do? No!
Right. Yeah.
Can they make him co-head coach? Has a team ever done that? 2 head coaches.
Isn't he he's assistant head coach, right?
No, Gus Bradley is. Gus Bradley is the assistant head coach, which kind of like number 3. But what if they made him co-head coach? 2 head coaches. I think that would be great. I kind of look at them as co-head coaches already.
I don't think Kyle does. Yeah, Kyle's like,
You're probably right.